do think that bringing in that Sova specifically with those shock darts does a lot to take out some of the issues that Cypher kind of imposes onto the Neon. Cypher, those straps are absolutely deadly to the one who goes fast. And so making sure that you're keeping that mitigated is going to be the most important thing. And another point that the desk made that I 100% agree with is, since this is just kind of like a new squad here, we don't know whether or not the players have necessarily rehearsed anything. This is a real good opportunity for CPS to just kind of rely on some of the stuff that they're so familiar with. But him already, Satellite finds Victor. Shondex though goes down. It's back and forth and everywhere.
Satellite is already in your pocket, and it takes 3 members of CPS to deal with him. But in the meantime, rest of Ambrosia's crept up to A site here, and Glyph holding down the front line of the fight. Now Welly with the trade back, and Ambrosia have a full support line despite all of these overextensions. Satellite going down to 10 HP before the Paranoia supported him. He found his kill, and the rest of Ambrosia was able to follow suit with the ladder of kills. But Marv isolates that first, and now it's him versus Welly. 39 HP for this Omen, and 1 smoke to his name. Welly holding the corner close. And with the drop down, it'll be guaranteed. Marv doesn't even have his gun out. Ambrosia stormed down that first round on pistol. Make it look easy until for a second it isn't, and then it was again. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it was just Satellite, you know, threading the needle right through into the back line, causing a lot of panic on CPS, you know, defense, because they're not expecting this Neon to have already made it so deep. And there might have been a little bit of miscommunication there, Marv. So sure of where that Sova should have been, and yet had the completely wrong read as to where that happened. And so Welly able to find just an easy little pick, no problems whatsoever, as it was a dominant pistol round coming in from Ambrosia. And now, CPS, oh, that's a lot of damage right off the bat onto Marv. It's a little bit more aggressive here from the defensive side, but Ambrosia are just waiting. They know what's coming.
Fully ready for this. Good double swing from CPS to let Caillou. Hey, buddy. That's 2. Now walk up with the fault line. He's feeling a little confident. Well, he'll take care of that pretty quickly, though. Still, it's Victor now who is overextended. That leash is getting a little long. Welly gun out in time for that one, too. The great initial response here from CPS to try to choke slam this attack before it can really get started. You won't have too many opportunities to do that here on Sunset. But some great shots by Caillou to keep this CPS squad breathing. He's will not be able to pick up a gun, of course, though. So we'll still try and play for time first. Satellite not checking Boba, but has enough shots to guarantee the kill. And Marv, after taking that shock dart to the gut, it's going to be a little tough for him to solo retake this. Already found out. Ambrosia should keep 3 standing here, and they will for the 2. So apart from that round where they couldn't really get anything started, I do expect to see this strategy of sort of util dumping a little bit to slingshot Satellite onto a site, and then whether or not you exec that site, you just kind of let him go kill.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of like the Neon thing to do. You see a lot of Neons just kind of run it down, and they're quote-unquote throwing all the time here. Caillou, excellent bullets. Just want to shout that one out real fast. But it feels very well supported by Ambrosia. And so when we see Satellite just kind of go in so deep, go for those moments, generally speaking, there is somebody backing him up. There is a little bit of utility that gets utilized to make sure that it's going to be possible. And already it's just so aggressive forwards here. Victor finds one, but immediately gets traded out.
Glyph is that escort, but Satellite can't extend. Marv holding down that site, and now there's 2 members here. They'll both get called out, but Giza sticks around on top of the breach util and takes down Shondex too. So already a good bonus here from CPS. If they keep things clean from here, they'll be able to set up a solid defensive half. But got to play this game to keep away. The Prowler will confirm their position still in elbow. Nobody is across this one way on the other side of Link, so they still have to watch this from beyond the steps. And Welly, tough peek, giving himself away there. Just down to Acre, we'll see what he can find. Likely it won't be much. Does have 1 blind and a Vandal now, but no real reason to rotate. Steps heard. Another peek that Caillou will take advantage of, and Force stay standing for the bonus.
And great job. I feel like when CPS go into more of that like contact play scenario where we're not worrying about the macro. We're not worrying about these crazy map rotations. We just have to stay alive here right now. We have an idea on where they're coming from. It looked incredibly well coordinated, fighting all the way onto that B site. You see, first, of course, Victor going down there, but it's that fight and elbow that really just highlighted that, where you see that them just playing so well off of each other, understanding when to use utility here, use a little bit of utility there, peak at the same time, which is extremely important, and they're able to just really shut down any shenanigans that Ambrosia might have been off of. So, good first round coming in from ChetsPets, but now Ambrosia, this is going to be their round to kind of clap back here. Satellite and Welly, just 2 ultimate orbs away from having something a little bit online, and if they can get one of those, things could shift around. As of this time, it's not aggressive coming in from ChetsPets. Their defense really just digging their heels into the ground, expecting to play off of any of the information that is given, but they've got enough to reinforce any of the gaps that might exist on the map.
0 implants so far. They're ready for this satellite slingshot. It's going to be looking to go over to B site, but as they confirm the camera's position from beyond the box, they'll second guess it, because you have to launch so much in order to clear the site for util. Bao unafraid to show his face, as the trapwires will do a lot of the talking for the actual exec. Ambrosia still a little too scared to hop on just yet. Maybe trying to field over a couple more members of ChetsPets, maybe trying to get a little bit of chip damage with a shock dart, which they will on the Bao, actually. 30 seconds to go, and there goes Satellite, gonna try and make this heavy space. It's gotta be through market with the amount of time you've got left. Go for the pinch. Aftershock will get rid of that trap wire, and they'll begin the breach from Boba. Victor gets his, and Bao was holding it down the whole time on the B main as well. ChetsPets clean so far. Shondex has stepped on, good for the 1, but now the double swing on top. 10 seconds to go, and Ambrosia gets the plant down, but Acreon can't really extend beyond this until Welly confirms the rest of market, and he can't even get 1. Easy swarm for ChetsPets. Easy defense for them. Force stay standing a second time.
Yeah, great round coming in from ChetsPets on this one. We see just the control that goes through Ambrosia. Welly uses the drone, flies in, tries to get a little bit of information, and all it takes is just 1 cyber trap. Immediately just gets deployed, and everybody from Ambrosia slows down to a snail's pace, and they actually decide to reconsider under that time crunch, going for a split onto mid, trying to make that one work, but at that point, they're just forcing the issue because everything was given away to ChetsPets. That's where Ambrosia might have been wanting to attack. The rest was history, so excellent job just shutting things down, introducing a wrench into the plan of Ambrosia, and they had spent so much time waiting around for this aggression. They simply just didn't have anything left, so Ambrosia now back down to a light buy. It's ChetsPets are kind of running things. They're once again with their stagnant defense. It's kind of playing a little bit far forwards here, and yeah, excellent timing from Victor. It's able to at least find 1, so Shondex is down. And a lot of utility to play off here as Bao finds yet another.
I use Aftershock will dispose of Acreon though.
I have the spike.
And ChetsPets doing a good job of just trying to poke away at these members of Ambrosia that will go for these confident step outs, such as Shondex, such as Glyph. And of course, Satellite. No real space made here on the eco. ChetsPets perfectly fine with taking this slow, handing creds over, doing whatever they need to do to maintain this momentum. Victor would love to get some kills under his belt just to farm up some creds for himself and go positive.
30 seconds left.
Smoke will make that hard though. Good
Only 30
sees.
seconds left on the clock,
Spike
so
planted.
things a little bit more desperate as ChetsPets are making their way around here. Smoke dissipates. This should be a very easy take, assuming that Ambrosia don't get up to any funny business.
I really appreciate that ChetsPets are like taking their time with this though. They're making sure that no member of Ambrosia like steps out, goes for something stupid or crazy. It's the kind of thing you have to account for in North American Challengers at this point. And it's great to see teams like ChetsPets, TSM, you know, these top level teams that are a little more set play based react accordingly to it at this level in the playoffs. So Ambrosia have to be very careful with who they let isolate and who they let lurk. Clearly ChetsPets are going to be taking their time being ready for those lurkers, being ready for those invaders. And then they'll play for the retake.
Yeah,
Here,
once
yeah,
again, like, one of the larger narratives that we can kind of thread throughout this entire matchup here is Ambrosia. They really had their time to shine on that last map. The Chet's Pets, I mean, they're just running things down. Victor already finds one. No support, no help, totally okay. But to at least blast one, we're seeing yet another ultimate coming through online. Victor zaps down to second.
Overdrive in response from Satellite, but on top of the Rolling Thunder, it's a little tough for him to go for his own. Victor's just going to double back and find Shondex after he's backstabbed, and now the rest of Ambrosia can crunch on what's left here in Spawn. Glyph and Satellite duking it out into 2v3. Victor able to pick himself up a gun thanks to that ballistic ult. And control overwhelmingly Chet's Pets with Spike in hand. Satellite going on a little adventure. Victor with the catch. Ace unlikely from the distance he is, but shoot, maybe Giza in bow fumble.
Don't say that.
Come on, I'm manifesting.
I have the spike.
Picked it up. Sticks around. That'll get punished. Farmed out the C's, actually, but your gun's not out. And he does get the ace. All is forgiven. And Chet's Pets are up to 4.
And that's the injection of life that we need to see Victor kind of take that shot in the arm. A very slow map on Icebox. You know, 3 of 19, not looking great. Already has more than doubled the amount of kills since that first round, and we're seeing that momentum just kind of pick up. And honestly, this round was very reminiscent to round number 1, where we saw Satellite just kind of fly through the entirety of the team, ducking, dodging, diving, zipping, and zapping all the way through, and able to find excellent positioning. And that time around, Victor was the one who just navigated those seams perfectly, navigating the back line and just frying the opponents. No help required. Nothing set up from Ambrosia. And once again, like, it's these slow crawls that we're seeing at the beginning of the round that time around we just get to see Chet's Pets really capitalize on, and Ambrosia were just simply not prepared.
Yeah, really tough to kind of ready up with that overdrive in your face. I'm sure Satellite's going to have just as much enjoyment getting to use that ult. But it's clear that Chet's Pets continuously do have this trust in Victor to frag. So they're willing to let him go off of his leash just as often as these other North American Challengers teams are doing for their duelists. If he's able to continue being as unstoppable as that round was, then Chet's Pets are as good as everyone has deemed them to be coming into this match. They're able to slow this map down pretty consistently. So Ambrosia try to take space quickly. Glyph already walking up through the tiles and just trying to garner as much of this open peeking as Ambrosia can. Look how they flowered out into market here, just escorting Satellite a little forward.
They do take a lot of this space here, but the spike is still so far behind. Now it's a heads-up play from Chet's Pets. Aware of what's going on, the util dump comes through. Marv in a great position.
He's gonna get checked, but oh, not the guns to match up with it. Marv can't land the shots, though. It's got to be the mid fight, but there's too much presence. Acreon gets 2.
Wow. That's not how you want things to go here if you're Chet's Pets. It should have been an easy one. Marv should have been able to find those kills, and of course, Acreon not supposed to find 2 headshots in the midst of all of that. Now the call is being made. Ambrosia rotating their way around to A. Victor very far deep in B, so should at least have that information. And nobody is going to be going over there,
30
but
seconds left.
Should be an easy take. Keep in mind, Acreon as well has that Rolling Thunder online, and that's why we see Chet's Pets back up a little bit more. Play a little bit more safe, just in case that comes out early and you yield even more weaponry to your opponents.
Still playing the same way they would in advantage, and it's paying off. Welly's the one to peek and die. 3v2 on the post plant. But you do have this Rolling Thunder. So the attempted reposition from Ambrosia to set up for that. Marv trying to catch it. Oh, but the timing's off. They'll head back down to Link instead. Shondex doing what he does best. Creeping up. This is the first, but flicks onto Marv for the second, and that's all the chip you need. Now the Rolling Thunder can be applied freely by Acreon to stall. Victor does get half spike, and the Aftershock can stall even further. Acreon steps onto site. Shondex still aware, but Jets Pets have the 2v1. Shondex for the one. Victor can defuse before Shondex makes it through, and the kill for good measure. Chet's Pets do maintain that power, do maintain that dominance, and do maintain their play style even through the mismatches, the mistakes, the missteps that Ambrosia are forcing them to go through.
And a great retake protocol coming in from Ambrosia. Like, everything there was so well done. It's just the spike got planted on the other side of the box. And if you had the space, you should have planted it in front. I understand there being a little bit of hesitation, understanding the aggression from Chet's Pets, but it was simply just came down to where that darn thing was planted. Of course, as well, it was so scary at the end. Might have completely swung back around, but Victor getting scouted out. Has to take that operator away. A different look from Ambrosia. This time they're pressuring that B site. They've had enough of A for the time being. At least it is just to feign a little bit of space. As Shondex in the middle of mid. Just hanging out, waiting for a little bit of information.
There's already so much intel gained from Ambrosia. You know, the op and the Cypher are there thanks to the Shock Dart dealing with the trap wire. A lot less fear pushing into the A main. Fault line to set up the initial push from Satellite. He'll creep up on top of this one-way through Link. Chet's Pets again going for this elbow control. This has been their strongest part of it. Whenever Ambrosia get up this far. Marved, last time he didn't land his shots, this time he will. Relay bolt to attempt to go for the refrag, and Satellite will swing in on it, but again, Chet's Pets have the presence. Shondex, there's a creep up, yet again, he's good for one. Victor though, now on this operator, good for himself, and the creep up mid is all Ambrosia have left. The A fight taken over completely by Chet's Pets. But still, with Victor on this operator, you got to play it safe. And Shondex's position is completely unknown. Victor, pretty vulnerable. No, he'll double back.
You get the sixth sense tingling, and you're like, I got to get out of here for some reason. I don't quite know why, but understanding how Shondex likes to play, that was the right call. You see them move away there, and it's so funny to me when we see that fight happen on elbow yet again, talking about Chet's Pets being really good in some of those contact plays. If I'm being honest, Marv is kind of bait for the rest of the team. Like, they've got the long sight line set up over Marv, and yet still Marv, like, you know, you expect Ambrosia, they get the kill onto Marv, they're going to be able to run through, and then that's when you get the reinforcements to gun it down. But somehow Marv able to find the first kill, escape, and then find yet another one. Once again, Marv almost feels like bait, but is just so good at finding the kills that Ambrosia can't even capitalize on some of it. Like, here's the replay just now. You see, there's a little bit of a watch just down the other side here, and yeah, a little bit confusing there, but it works out perfectly. So excellent job kind of coming in from Chet's Pets. It feels like they're really solidifying this defense. It's now 6-2. These rounds have been pretty close, but now Satellite just running it down.
Yeah, amping it up, but it's immediately responded to. Marv took a farther angle back, and yeah, Ambrosia with these slightly worse guns, they really tried to floor it. They do find a pick with the Hunter's Fury, trying to search for one in A. So Chet's Pets will get intimidated a little bit here. Respect the push that Ambrosia is going to go for. Welly might be able to get a gun, but has to suss out so much more of this site. Owl Drone is going to confirm Marved, actually. And they'll spray through the boxes. Tremendous work from Ambrosia. Everybody from Chet's Pets here. Shondex again walks in. Now the Neural Theft confirms both positions for Bao and Caillou. I understand he's ISO'd. They know Bao has to swing on top. They're ready for this 3v2, and Shondex is absolutely alive. Give him 4. Why not? Oh, Acreon will take it. But Ambrosia will make their claw onto this round after a great tank-like push-down elbow.
Man, like we saw in the last map, like Satellite, woo, flying around. Oh, what crazy angles here. That was a fun little sniper shot that flies through. But Shondex was right up there in the kill feed on Icebox, and we're seeing why. Just such good heads-up plays, understanding where the positioning of these members of Chet's Pets might be, and just walking through says, I'll do it myself. Let's snap with the finger, make sure to shut down any of the defense on that site. I was going to say, Chet's Pets, I liked the positioning there. They're playing on these weird angles. and yet still goes completely checked and taken down by Shondex. The operator once again back onto that B site watching long, and Ambrosia are more interested in taking out mid. Of course, the L drone will come out there just to flush that operator off that angle. But look at the space that's already been taken over in mid by Ambrosia. Satellite just waiting for Victor.
Cover fire on top of the Prowler to prevent Victor, or prevent Satellite from getting hit by anything. Great setup to babysit him up that staircase. And it's a great way to stray from these hero moments that Ambrosia's players have had to set on so far this map. Marv, yet again, in the crevices. He's become such a good nuisance for Chet's Pets. This map. It'll have to be the B execute after all other options are exhausted. And with Shondex having to clear that trap wire, Chet's Pets will know it. Watching every other angle, though, again, they respect it. They're willing to wait this out until they know that everybody's here.
30 seconds left.
Spike will go down.
Spike planted.
Marv already used the From the Shadows just to do a little bit of retreat, so can't regroup a little bit faster. So this will be a 4v4. Keep in mind, Glyph the Omen this time has the operator.
Shondex stuck behind the box in the backside. 3 creeping down from Boba. They're out. He's in Bow each for 1. Bow creeps up. Shondex not stopped for a moment, but it's long enough for Chet's Pets to tear down the rest of site. And it's getting difficult. It's getting a little tougher, but Chet's Pets keep it clean.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they only need to keep it clean for 2 more rounds, right? Like, we're so close to the half at this point. And sure, a lot of these rounds are really close between the 2 teams. But at the end of the day, like, sure, you win 3 rounds with only 1 person alive. That still counts as 3 rounds, especially as we inch closer towards that half. And honestly, cheeky little play right here, but actually it is the wraparound from Bow to make sure that the rest of the site is secured, because otherwise Shondex could have gone absolutely massive there. Fortunately, the spray just not working out in favor of that Cypher player. And now we go again. Ambrosia trying something a little bit different. Marv tries to go for the bait play. Engages a couple of the members of Ambrosia forward, but nothing really to write home about, as Glyph is still on top of things. Going to be a more or less goodbye from Ambrosia, but Glyph only having that stinger in hand, Marv is aware.
This is a crazy rundown from Glyph. If he had 1 more bullet in the tank, he would. Marv somehow gets a second on his way out.
Yeah.
But is it enough? Ambrosia, 2v3, as they've cut through both sites, but nothing's certain. Victor all the way back up in main with this op creep. If Shondex turns it, this is instantly back in favor of Ambrosia. Is Victor going to check? Or Shondex going to meet?
Oh, timing.
Oh, timing, indeed. Welly creeping up B main just as Victor's attention is steered, but his game sense is way too good for that. Instantly Chet's Pets round off of that. And the decision-making is enough. Marv's kills are enough. There can only be one.
You know, like it's that bait play once again. Just on elbow. Oh yeah, we should be able to overwhelm Marv. It should be fine. And if Marv goes down, well, Chet's Pets have somebody else there watching that angle just in case. And yet still somehow, Marv comes out on top. Giza just stamping out at the wrong time at that point, but the damage had already been done. Marv somehow able to secure those kills when, if I'm being honest there, Ambrosia should have been the ones to come out on top, and then Victor just so far deep forwards on that B site finds the shot. And yeah, we're seeing Victor and Marv really start to heat up. The former tier 1 players really starting to kind of flex their experience here, as kind of predicted here on Sunset.
Satellite's overdrive. How is he still standing? Good for the 3. Victor pulls out his own to try to counter. It's not going to work. Is there another ace in the books for a Neon here on Sunset? Certainly seems likely. As Satellite deathballed through Ender's Game style to take over the A site. And Ambrosia, once again, leave an exclamation point here in the half to show that they are not done trying to chokehold this game and series as a whole. Now proc by the dart. You know Satellite wants it. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I set you up and everything, man. But it's 4-8. Ambrosia grabbed one more from the doldrums after a stunning, albeit a little bit disappointing at the end, overdrive.
I just want to say, you set up a sick alley-oop, and then
I was D-Wade, and Braun was like 15 feet farther back than I thought he was. So it's my bad.
Forgot to tie my shoes before I jumped. Oh no! But yeah, I mean,
still,
this is
look at this, like,
yeah,
insane.
Oh, it was sick. Don't get me wrong. And on top of that too, like, we didn't see enough of Satellite come online outside of some of the beginning rounds. When we saw Satellite on that Neon, zip, 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 all the way through the enemy team, find the kills necessary, looking fantastic. But that time, that was another moment that Satellite was able to turn up for Ambrosia. And it's still not the top of the team. I think that ChessPets were doing such an excellent job of shutting down that Neon, but now they're going to be the ones on the attack here. It's very fast on to A. Looks like Ambrosia, once again, are going to be pushing to take the retake. Maybe that's just what they're more comfortable with.
Victor going to, again, be the tip of the spear here, but anyone overextending will get punished by a swath of Ambrosia players clamoring outside of this gate. And they'll open it up. Now it's Satellites, the tip of the spear. And Ambrosia storm onto the site. A taken over. It's the link presence that matters. Attempted peeks, but so much util to offer at the problem. Marv does take the first shot. Second, Bow back up again. ChessPets light it up. And the 2v4 goes their way in the pistol.
An army of two, supposed to look in two different directions. And it still comes out on top. Marv finding quite a few kills, but of course, Bow as well. As confident as ever. Rumors of Leviathan picking up Bow as well, alongside Okeanos and Sato. But that's, I mean, hey, there's a good reason why you would want to keep
half
your
of those
eye on
rumors
this player.
started from him, though, to be fair.
I know.
He was baiting us so hard.
But still, you can tell that when Ambrosia want to go for this more death bally style, they're very comfortable here. And it comes down to just these individual moments from ChessPets, somehow able to find multi-kills. Well, he just completely caught out of position there. And that's one of the better weapons down. No more big boom sheriff, as Victor just already slid onto site. So an easy plant yet again. Ambrosia are going to have to retake this one. And they've only got 4 members alive, not necessarily the weaponry to make anything happen either. So this round is feeling already over.
Yeah, this is pretty much cemented. Tough to sort of just rip the Band-Aid off. But here in the follow-ups, it's what you got to do. After losing your ace in the hole on that Sheriff. Waiting to see if anybody peeks out. Oh, and Victor. Oh, buddy. Give him an ace, come on. Shot next, come on.
They know where.
Yep. Yeah! That's 2!
Victor just brought back from the dead in this map.
Jeez, he's gonna reverse his KD, dude.
No. Don't say it like that. But I feel like this playstyle for Victor has just been so good. It doesn't feel like Ambrosia really have any traps or anything set up in order to stop this Neon from just kind of going hog wild in the back line. Well, finds 1 kill, immediately just kind of darts in here onto the second and third. And fourth, sorry. And then just hunting down Shondex at the very end. Sliding around, goes for it, finds the ace. And Victor has to be feeling really good. Brought back into this map. And of course, it's 10-4, so Ambrosia will be calling for that timeout because things are really looking good for ChessPets. And they're potentially going to force out map number 3, which is Split, which Ambrosia has struggled on. And sure, ChessPets, new team, okay, yeah, they swap people around, a whole new different look and stuff like that. But historically, M80 squad were really good at Split. And so if you're Ambrosia, you really have to start to pace yourself because if you go to that map 3, it's going to be looking really good for ChessPets to potentially win out the series.
I'd imagine your playstyle, if you're Ambrosia, what you call in the timeout is the same sort of thing you called if you're ChessPets. It's just pay a little more respect, pay a little more patience. Don't try and go for these one-off invades is often, if Victor wants to go kill, let him go run into a space and not get any kills, and then you can go for a retake after the kits are exhausted. It's more about just eliminating, all the contingencies that Chet's Pets have along the way. That's the hard part. So if you can sort of fake out a util dump here, then that would be ideal. But Chet's Pets are coming to this B site now with a blistering speed here on the bonus. Dashing into market. Victor's already through. The Haunt will catch him out, but the trap wire catches Victor, so that's an easy kill for Ambrosia. Still, Chet's Pets use that to thrust themselves onto the site. It's a slingshot that'll work for the front half of it. And a kill in the process, too. Shondex will fall, meaning that you don't have to deal with those trap wires going even farther forward if you decide to try and start another fight, which you know that Chet's Pets will have to with the worst guns that they've got. Acreon caught with the fault line, still has some cover fire, but Chet's Pets have 2 fronts to walk in on, and it's Marved once again coming up with the majority. Now the opposing Omen, 2 low health pools to deal with, but 2 tough angles to take. A lot of time to do it, though. And the onus is on Chet's Pets to plant. It's possible that Glyph is just waiting for that. We'll send another smoke just to force Chet's Pets to corner themselves a little bit more. Giza vulnerable if it's not peaked. And Marved on the other side of this smoke. Glyph's wrap might work, but it's watched! And Chet's Pets make 11.
Wow, excellent stuff from Chet's Pets there. I mean, they got themselves onto the site. Things were boxed out. Ambrosia are just kind of watching there, waiting. Like, all right, well, they got to make a move somehow. We'll wait for that spike to get planted, and then that's when we pounce, because that's when they're going to be not expecting us to kind of flood through. Instead, Chet's Pets go, hold up a minute, let's wait for these smokes to disperse, and then let's take even more space. And they just completely walk through, catching the rest of Ambrosia completely off guard. This mid-rounding call was fantastic, as they just kind of dominate through, and they find yet another round, bring them up to 11 now. So excellent little call coming in from Chet's Pets. They feel nice and secure as a Victor once again has to be a little bit careful there, but is able to walk around the Cypher trip and completely overwhelm the site.
Such a minimal amount of space gained with the fast lane, but it's enough to get him forward, at least until Satellite shuts him down. But again, that's what Victor is for, just getting onto the site. The kills were just some bonus points for him. Ambrosia's already walled out, and they're on the site. All of them are. Smoke fades away. Giza still turns onto the kill for Glyph. These Guardians need to light up. Satellite right on top. Get Marv. There you go. Ambrosia will make the climb, and it's a 3v2. Chet's Pets trying to quickly and quietly make their way through market. Breaking down the door gives them away, and Ambrosia going for the chase down. Satellite obviously going to be the closest to it. Might go for the intercept, but no more gas in the tank, so he's just got to give this space away. So Ambrosia will play for the retake.
Oh,
Hunter's Fury caught Giza! That's one!
Because why not, right? Make it even more difficult for Chet's Pets.
Unbelievable. Playmaking these guys can come up with out of nowhere is so unreal, and Chet's Pets constantly have to just empathize with it. Triple swing for Caillou. He has a Rolling Thunder. Might opt to use it. Nobody's tapped the spike yet, so it's all about the fight first. But better timing from Ambrosia. They have enough to work with, and they'll find a 5th.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're feeling it, and to be fair, it is Caillou. Caillou's been kind of fragging out of his mind. You might want to let the Rolling Thunder get ripped, and then you try and go for the peak, try and go for the angle, but decides to play safe because there's still 6 rounds of buffer between yourself and Ambrosia, especially with a very dominant 3 rounds in a row from Chet's Pets. So they decide to hold on to the Rolling Thunder. Victor as well now has the overdrive ready to go. Satellite on the other side will have the exact same thing, but it's this heads-up play from Welly, the Hunter's Fury, going fishing across the map. Finds excellent value, makes sure that Ambrosia are able to win the round. And they need every single round that they can get because it's still a very long path before you even make this map somewhat salvageable for this squad. So Marv now going very aggressive. Walks right into Satellite's judge. Unfortunately, not going to be on the better end of it. And so, Chet's Pets, they have to kind of commit here onto this A site. They've lost their main lurker. And actually, this is Ambrosia just giving it up once again. I have a feeling that they think that this might be an A-side hit, so they're going to commit to playing that retake.
Oh, especially since they can just take hot shots from the back line. Aftershock will not get the kill onto Acreon either. So he can stick around and follow up on top of Glyph, who avoids a Prowler that's right in front of his face. So you have to re-clear it, and Glyph gets 2!
Spike down A.
That's just cursed. Like he's a talk. 1v5. Let's see it, buddy. Vault line in. 1. Oh, can't finalize, but Satellite steps back. That's 2. Oh, the judge, though. Huge damage. All right, that'll do it. But Glyph is the one to walk up and gain all of that space after Marv tries traveling miles up top steps. It's Ambrosia that come up on top.
Yeah, might have been just one of those little bit of an overcook coming through from Chet's Pets. And this is actually enough to make Chet decide to rein in the leashes just a little bit more. Call that timeout off of that last round. And keep in mind, the ultimate bank coming through here. At this point, it's going to be Chet's Pets coming through with 4 ultimates into this next round. And if they can put themselves at 12, that is going to be an excellent position. I don't know how that Prowler didn't find Glyph, by the way. Feels like the animation might have just been a little bit funky there, because from a third-person perspective, it looked like it should have caught him, but unfortunately not going to necessarily be the case, as we get to see a little bit of a stack and Shondex jump scare there. But still, I think that this is going to be a good timeout, because Chet's Pets, they just need to get that single round, and then victory is going to be on that horizon. Once again, if they can force out map number 3, I think things will very much favor them, and they can save themselves from elimination here in this playoff bracket.
And this is a Chet's Pets team that's trying to retain that top 5 position in the Ascension leaderboard that they were able to retain coming into this. Obviously taking 2nd place in Split 1. They're hoping to hold on to a podium spot at the very least. As we've recently found out, even taking the 3rd spot when it comes to points is crucial to having your chance at making it to franchising. Chet's Pets so close to that, even if they just get 6th tier. Caillou enabled off the fault line. Easy first kill onto an Ambrosia member that just tries to run into it. Satellite let off the leash.
And when we talk about that duel is like head-to-head, right? Satellite versus Victor here. I think what we're starting to understand is when it comes to those long-range duels, Satellite tends to be the guy. Is going to be able to find those kills, find those long-range angles, and secure everything. On the flip side, though, Victor looks a lot more comfortable in that close-range combat. We've seen multiple times now where Victor has done something exactly like Satellite did, yet still found the kills necessary to make a play. Satellite has been struggling using that similar play style.
Off your feet!
Rolling Thunder now in response. Immediate walk up from Chet's Pets. This is how you can take over a site, forcing the members on it to stick around. Refrag from Victor guarantees, but stealed his backline. Welly! Good for 2. Victor has to do it all himself, but thankfully he does. And Chet's Pets have enough to get over the line. They're at 12.
And they only use 2 ultimates in the midst of all of that, too. So there's still enough to be able to play around things. Keep in mind that the ultimates between the 2 teams are exactly balanced, perfectly balanced even, as we do have that Neural Theft available as well as the Overdrive. The main difference is that Acreon, with a single ultimate orb, could get a Rolling Thunder, and that is going to be an excellent boon. Shondex somehow getting away with murder, by the way. I think that's just Shondex things. And, you know, we talk about all these tier 1 teams looking at the talent in Challengers. I think Shondex is another one of those players that could be so strong to add to your rosters with the numbers that Shondex has been able to put up and be so consistent about, too.
Game point number 1 here for Chet's Pets on Sunset. Victor with the overdrive to fully clear elbow. And Ambrosia are going to respect the push. Now, all the way back in team. Seeing if a member of Ambrosia wraps.
Flash out!
Not too much time to take the fight here. Ambrosia have got to set up and make this work. Rolling Thunder will catch everybody necessary. Oh, Satellite immediately cut short on the overdrive. Caillou, what a shot. Rest of Ambrosia steps on. Caillou, tough timing, but Marv has got the cover fire. And Caillou's got the walk up. That's enough in the tank for Chet's Pets. It'll be a 13-6 victory on Sunset to take us to map 3 once again with this team.